Before you rush out and buy Tri-Brigade cards, I think we need to have this discussion. Make sure you guys smash the like and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So you might have heard a lot of talk right now of, oh, Fire King Tri-Brigade, oh, Tri-Brigade cards are back in the meta. Oh my gosh, Shirag and the rest of the gang are going up in value. What is inspiring all this? Well, right now, because the TCG version of the deck, we don't have Poppius, we don't have, you guessed it, half of the best support cards to support the deck. No Bonfire, so people have to play things like Tenki, and it's inspired a lot of people to look to the Tri-Brigade variant and go, hey, it's time to pick this up, all right? It's like, I want to play this, but here's the thing. More than likely, about 99% of this, I'm about to say, is probably going to hold true. Once we get Poppius and the rest of the Fire King stuff, all the money you spend on Tri-Brigade is going to go down the toilet. That's right. Those cards are more than likely not going to hold any sort of value, or, they're going to immediately crash down in price. So what's the point in making this video? Well, so I always see a lot of people that are like, all right, we want to play this version of a deck, and you got to think about it. Okay, so if you're picking up the Tri-Brigade stuff, you were planning on playing the deck for the better half of December, and then a couple weeks into January. Not even factoring in, maybe you're not going to play Christmas and New Year's. So you were picking up this engine for 2 weeks of play? Well, yes, that would be the thing here. Now, the other thing that entertains me about this is, well, Robbie, the OCG's doing it. I've seen one single deck out of Japan that is playing the Splash Tri-Brigade with the Fire King package. That is it. All right, so before you start pulling out the sighting material and going, hey, this is guaranteed the next best engine. No, because Poppius, Bonfire, those consistency cards are, you don't need those to be successful right now. Actually, I think that's the more hilarious part of all of this. Like, there are plenty of Fire King builds that are not even touching this engine, and they're doing fine. Well, what if I don't have the Sinful Spoils stuff? Then I can at least play the Fire King package with Tri-Brigade. Okay. If we're getting into the realm of budget alternatives out here, then that's a different discussion, all right? Then that's the only way that you can choose to play the deck. This discussion point for this was aimed at the people that were looking at this package and going, oh, I'm going to need this for the next several months. And it's like, no, you don't. And to be honest with you, I haven't even seen a lot. I think I've seen 4 Tri-Brigade Fire King builds show up and be successful on the regional level. And that's not even saying that the pure build has not had success, because it has. But it comes down to budget alternatives. Does this package help supplement the need for this for the Sinful Spoils package? Strictly on the aspect of I don't have Sinful Spoils cards, then yes. Then you're going to have to supplement the deck package for that. All right, that's the 2 very different arguments here in that regard. So if you don't have expensive Sinful Spoils cards, then you're going to need that Tri-Brigade stuff. If you do have the expensive stuff, you probably already got money. You don't need to spend the extra $20, $30 and just be patient, Save yourself the money where you can. I guess a lot of people be like, hey, $30, $40 for a Tri-Brigade package? I'll play it for 1 week and then toss it in my stuff. Realistically, there are a lot of people that are like that, Contrary to what most Yu-Gi-Oh players do believe out here, people are willing to spend money on the game, and if it's not hundreds of dollars, a lot more people look at 20 $30, $40 as just little splashable things that they can come back to later on. It's called the little tech choice investments. Also, I could get infinite use out of my Tri-Brigade core, You never know when it's going to come back into circulation. There are people, I do avidly believe that if you like a package or you want to make sure that you can have as many deck cores laying around as possible. And to be fair, if you formerly had Tri-Brigade sitting around, you made free money off of it. I think that's the biggest kind of takeaway from all of this is, if you still had a Tri-Brigade core, go sell that stuff. Go make your free money on it. That was free. It's the same thing with Punishment Dragons fairly recently, and to the people that had the higher rarity Lightsworn stuff. Now that there's the renewed interest back in all of this stuff, time to go cash in on the free money. I think that's one big thing that people will kind of forget about is, these hype trains coming through, new card releases, new tech trends, new important things like that do tend to make people want to spend money, and that's a good thing. So, where are we sitting right now with all of this? Fire King is the new deck, all right? And especially when you can spend $30, get 3 structure decks, people are going to want to find ways to play the deck. I 100% understand that. All right, it is kind of what it is at that point. And I once again, I don't think anybody's going to disappoint people for trying to point this out. But the point of this video was, hey, you are looking at an obsolete engine that is not going to function too well post-release of Poppyists and Bonfire. I am once again going to point out that budget players will need to find alternatives. We talked about the Sinful Spoils spell card that was formerly $3 that went up to $15. I think those have long since kind of calmed back down, which thankfully happened. That was a wee little bit ridiculous. Cards, I understand the argument of, no card should be super expensive and should be readily available. That's fine. But purchasing unnecessary packages for decks just for a week or two of play, I don't know, that just feels kind of pointless to me. Outside of that, you have your shopping list. You know what you need to look for going forward for Fire Kings. Poppyists is probably going to be, I guess you could try to play 2. It once again, it depends on how much of the Snake Eye package do you want to dedicate to the deck to depend on how many Poppyists you're going to want to play. Because I've seen 2 to 3 Poppyists. Actually, I've seen 1, 2, and 3 across the board for these lists. So that's something really big that you got to consider out here is just how many do we add in? And then, to top things off, do you already have your Flamberge Dragon package? The Snake Eye stuff, at least when you're looking at that for the long term, you at least knew what you were getting yourself into for that. And that was relatively cheap. But outside of that, it's triple Bonfire, right? It's actually pretty cool, looking at this now, because, once you already have the Sinful Spoils package, the Snake Eye stuff, and, the Fire King structure decks, you only got to pick up a couple of stray things, and you're kind of, and the Promethean Princess, and the Ambler Whale. Those extra deck utility options, man. Let me tell you, I think that's by far the most interesting thing out of all of these little decks and packages. That extra deck. But the good news is once you have the extra deck stuff, it all just moves around and goes everywhere. So you're kind of good in that regard. So, don't waste money on the Tri-Brigade stuff unless you absolutely believe that you need the package. Oh man, it makes my deck so good. Post Poppyists and, the Bonfire, I'm telling you, Robbie, it's going to be the best thing ever. Only one build that I've seen out of Japan has been successful with that stuff, and that was actually last weekend. It's the first time I've ever seen the Tri-Brigade stuff showing up. And you know what? I don't even think it was a major Streamline tournament. So, what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. Peace out.
Patrons!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.